Steve Craig.
Good afternoon.
Welcome once again to Midday 16. I'm Jay Christopher. The warm spring weather has been the fuse for millions of Americans to dust off those jogging sneakers and sweatsuits, yet those same joggers are sometimes hindering and not helping their physical condition. That's up and coming later on Midday 16. Pat?
Well, I'm Pat Nilsson down at the Sheraton Crossgates Hotel in downtown Wilkes-Barre, where master French chef Jacques Pépin is preparing a gourmet's delight. And we'll be sharing part of this demonstration down here with him in just a few minutes. But first, let's go to Steve Craig with all the news. Steve?
Pat speak to the nation tonight on the subject of his budget cuts. But the way it looks right now, the president won't have much of a selling job to do. That's because the Democrats in the House, who once objected to part of the Reagan plan, now seem willing to go along. And finally, for right now, it's a good thing the president didn't decide to make a speech last night, because there are plenty of people who wouldn't have been home to watch. Tom Verotto tells us where they were.
Oh no! Look out! Ballad. Is it a sport?
It's exciting, that's all.
Is it a circus?
Don't I tell you about it? It's a fake.
Oh no, it's pro wrestling. From the ridiculous to the sublime. From Little Brutus to the Moondogs.
What about the Moondogs? I hate them. Why? They're a bunch of animals.
To the front row. What a show. But wait, did Killer Khan really beat Dominic DeNucci? Will Sky Lolo ever grow hair?
Don't ask me.
Can Tony Gurria and Rick Martel really beat the Moondogs? Will this man ever find happiness? These and other questions will be answered next month when pro wrestling returns to the CYC. Tom Verotto, Newswatch 16 Sports in Scranton.
And I think we might as well stop right now while we're ahead and go back to Pat Nilsson, who's in Wilkes-Barre at the Crossgates Hotel. Pat?
You're right. Thank you, Steve. Well, coming up, as you can see in back of me, the class is in session, and the master chef is Jacques Pépin, who cooked for 3 different French presidents, and we'll be joining them as this demonstration continues in progress in just a moment.
Meaty bone is a barking good treat. Bark if you like meat. There's a biscuit in the middle wrapped with meat. Bark if you like meat.
Introducing Meaty Bone, the first dog biscuit made with real meat. Inside, there's a crunchy biscuit to help keep your dog's teeth clean and strong. Outside, there's a delicious coating made with real meat.
New Meaty Bone is a barking good treat. Bark if you like meat.
New Meaty Bone, made with real meat.
With the area's leading photo finisher, Picture Barn. Now through May 15th, Picture Barn will give you free seeds with every roll of film you have developed. Grow lovely marigolds, petunias, and zinnias, and get the quality photo finishing your pictures deserve. All during Picture Barn's Spring Special. Remember, we use Kodak paper for a good look. Picture Barn, our business is developing.
Some new camera tricks.
Picture Barn, everything clear.
Sunday Cinema 16 is proud to present the all-family classic, Heidi.
I've no choice but to leave her with my father.
Music was everything to him. But then one...
I only want to do what's best for the child.
Don't miss Heidi, the classic all-family motion picture, Sunday morning at 11 on WNEP-TV's Cinema 16.
Well, clouds increased and thickened over western Pennsylvania overnight, and those same clouds are with us at this hour because it's raining here in northeastern Pennsylvania. The clouds, as we mentioned, are associated with a warm front that's prompting showers, and there is a possibility of some thundershower activity later on this afternoon. Most of the heavy rain will be noted later this day. It's expected this rainy period will be with us through Wednesday at least. Let's check the current readings outside the Channel 16 studios. Currently 60 degrees, humidity 55%. Winds northwesterly at 5, barometer 30.00 inches, corrected at sea level, and it's rising slightly, which is unusual, and it's raining. Tonight's forecast, showers, possible thunder shower or two thrown in. The overnight low at 52 degrees. And for tomorrow, Wednesday, a morning shower or a thunderstorm, clearing in the afternoon, a high getting up to 67 degrees. So a rainy Tuesday throughout much of the Commonwealth. Let's go down to Wilkes-Barre and Pat Nilsson. Pat?
It smells wonderful down here. I'm sure if you could smell it, you wish you were here. We're joining Jacques Pépin, and he's a French chef who's, of course, cooked for 3 different French presidents. And let me ask you something. Gourmet cooking seems to be becoming more popular. What do you think accounts for that?
Well, what accounts for that is many things, among other things, women liberation, organic food, jogging. It's a new awareness in terms of cooking. There is an explosion of cookware shop, cooking school. The amount of material that you have every week is staggering. In newspaper as well as magazine, you know, like 5 years ago you had Gourmet magazine that was about us. Now there is about 10 magazines, Pleasure of Cooking, Bon Appetit, Cuisine and so forth. And there is that type of awareness and people are interested in looking at the label, what they are eating. You know, all that type of thing is important.
How would you classify gourmet cooking?
Well, this is a word which has been completely truncated or edulcorated, you know. It doesn't really mean anything nowadays, or it had a pejorative meaning for most people now, something snob and so forth. Good cooking is good cooking, whether it's gourmet or not, I really don't know what it means. What I do during the week here, I try to demystify French cooking in a sense. Show people that most of the stuff that you do are not expensive. And it can be very good. In fact, the more sophisticated the food, the more you get involved in it, the least expensive it becomes. For example, if you do a steak outside on the barbecue, then you need a 14, 15 ounce steak, you need a piece of prime beef. As soon as you pan fry it, you get away with like 12 ounce, and you want a piece of choice.
Do you need a lot of special tools?
Yes, good equipment is very important. If you pay money for a good knife, you'll have it for the rest of your life. So I would advise people to buy one pot once in a while, but buy very good equipment, because you keep it forever, you give it to your children, grandchildren, and it really improves your cooking.
How can you tell if it's a good knife or good pot?
Well, you should go buy that in a specialty store if you don't know enough yourself. That's what you pay for in a specialty store. People can explain to you that type of steel compared to another type of steel, the advantage of aluminum over copper, and so forth.
What are you making here?
I'm doing a dessert here. Those are little swan. I have the head somewhere, I don't know, which will be presented this way with the head. The choux, and this is a Paris-Brest cake, which will be stuffed with a praline, a type of almond caramel mixture, and a cream, and whipped cream.
What do you think the most popular questions when you come here? It's maybe some common mistakes that we're making right now.
Yes. No, the question used to be, I did a piece in the New York Times last year, and most people would be, can I freeze it? However, in the last couple of years, people don't have that type of question. People are getting much more sophisticated in cooking than they used to be. It's an enormous difference between now and a few years ago. Well, people want to know how far ahead they can do it, or that type of thing, most of the time.
If you're like a working woman, and there's more of those, you know, every day now, what would you advise as far as when you think of some of these meals, they take a long time to prepare?
It's not really true. I mean, you know, you can wait in line at McDonald's, and I'll get into the kitchen and I'll finish preparing something before you get at the end of the line. I mean, you know, it can be very simple. A piece of meat, just pan, fry, saute, and very simple. I would advise people to throw out their can opener and get as close as they can to Mother Nature in terms of buying, you know, plenty natural product. Most of the time it's less expensive. There is nothing more expensive than frozen product, even canned one. It's a crime to do canned soup. You know, it takes 15 minutes to do a soup.
Well, thank you. We'll let you go on with your class.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate all of you taking the time.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in just a few minutes. Jay's got more on what's coming up next.
Thank you very much, Pat. Well, coming up on Midday 16, marathon runner and former sports events colleague of mine, Tim Bauman, joins Midday 16 today for some points on jogging. Stay with us for more on Midday 16.
Throughout the Pennsylvania Northeast, spotless cleaners are the people pleasers. Let the spotless adjust-a-drape specialists care for your draperies. They'll remove and rehang them if you choose at a slight additional charge. The spotless adjust-a-drape process cleans and also maintains the exact length of your draperies. So add to the life expectancy of your draperies. You'll admire the graceful folds with no ripples. Free estimates, of course.
We're the people pleasers. We're spotless, of course.
forgot the Miracle Whip.
A sandwich just isn't a sandwich without the zip of Miracle Whip salad dressing, the bread spread from Kraft.
I forgot my Miracle Whip.
Well, millions of Americans have taken to jogging. It's inexpensive, you can jog at your convenience, and the exercise is most beneficial to one's health. Jogging, though, simple in theory, can present numerous problems. For example, sore feet, aching knees, splints, sore muscles, and sometimes some frustration. Marathon runner and authority Tim Bauman is with us on Midday 16. Tim, welcome back once again.
Thank you.
There are a lot of people who do go into jogging, and a lot of them wear the wrong kind of jogging shoe or sneaker. I notice we have a tennis or a court shoe there. This is one that they should not run in, correct?
That is correct. This shoe is not built for running. It is built more for the athlete who perhaps is going to be involved in basketball, court sports such as handball and racquetball and whatnot, and it just does not have the flexibility in the sole nor the support that is necessary to do the kind of running that you'd want to do on the roads.
The sole has got a lot of ribbing on it, does it not?
Yes, it does. The sole has an awful lot of ribbing on it, and the ribbing that is on the sole provides a wider base for the foot and does not provide the kind of traction you would want long-term on the road itself.
Okay, before we get into some additional questions, I'd like to invite our audience to phone us at 1-800-982-4374. And you dial in and ask Tim any question you may have in your mind concerning jogging right now. Speaking of jogging, not too long ago, the Boston Marathon took place, and we'd like to show you some pictures of a mass of humanity. How many out of the 1,000 that do participate in the Boston Marathon are they running with proper gear?
I think that most of the people that run in the Boston Marathon are running with the proper gear. There is a qualifying standard set for the Boston Marathon, and in preparation for that qualifying standard, these people are pretty knowledgeable about the sport itself, so they're pretty well prepared.
Okay, we have our first question this afternoon on Midday 16. Good afternoon, Midday 16. Go ahead, please.
Yes, what's the best sneaker to wear when you're jogging?
Well, I think that that's a question that is very typically asked, and I don't think that there's a set answer. I think you have to take a look at yourself and try to determine what goals you would like to accomplish in your running. I think to do that, then you want to get a shoe that fits you comfortably. We could talk very extensively about the different aspects of the shoe, forefoot impact, rear foot control.
Is this one of the...
Yeah, this is a typical running shoe. I think you've got to find a shoe that fits you comfortably. And once you've found a shoe that fits you comfortably, then you can start discussing the flexibility of the shoe as it might flex from the toe back through the heel. You might want to look at how the shoe itself will condition itself for rear foot impact and whatnot. But I don't think I could give you an opinion as to what is the best shoe to wear. I think you have to find a shoe that's comfortable and then consider the criteria for which you wish to accomplish.
All right, our next question this afternoon. Good afternoon, Midday 16. Go ahead, please. What's your question?
Yes, a lot of times runners will complain of lightheadedness, and I'm wondering about the importance of vitamins such as lecithin, potassium, and such.
I think that there is a big amount of information that has been disseminated by medical communities concerning the importance of vitamins. I think lightheadedness as a condition is something that you'd have to look at in perspective to the distance that you've just run. Marathoners in particular may complain of lightheadedness, but more frequently than the loss of vitamins, it comes from the loss of water and the essential liquids that you might lose through perspiration during your run. A vitamin analysis is available, but I think as a runner you would want to look at other aspects of your program before you actually got to the finite desire to want to understand vitamin loss in running.
On that, Tim, we're going to take a timeout right now. We ask those of you who are on the phones to stay with us. Tim Bauman will be back to answer more of the questions pertaining to jogging. So stay with us for more on Midday 16.
Nobody eats better for less than the Italians, because there are so many wonderful things you can do with spaghetti. My spaghetti is Gioia. We make it from the family recipe that my grandfather brought over from Italy 84 years ago. Saluda! I can't think of a nicer way to create so many good things to eat than with Gioia spaghetti. Economical, but all the money in the world couldn't buy better.
Classic comedy continues on the Dialing for Dollars movie.
In their flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal all the steam with their up in the up, and their down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the loop and defying the ground. They're all frightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flying machines.
Yes, those magnificent men in their flying machines will keep you smiling. Today at 4 on Channel 16 as Classic Comedy Week continues.
Welcome back to Midday 16. My guest this afternoon is Tim Bauman. He's a marathon runner, and you've got thousands of miles behind you, Tim, remembering the sports events of a couple of years ago. Before we get on with our phone calls once again, if someone were to begin jogging, what should one really focus in on before he or she gets out there?
The first recommendation that I would give anyone as they're beginning to decide on running is to first look back at their medical history and decide whether they've had medical problems centering in any of their cardiovascular systems, the heart, the lungs, and if so, to see a medical person. Once you've done that, you should establish some primary goals as to what you wish to accomplish, and do not set goals that are above and beyond your early capabilities. You may want to start your running program basically walking or with short quarter-mile, half-mile, or even mile workouts. You should not try and set goals that are going to take you too far too quickly, because they're basically unattainable.
Just prepare. Begin by walking.
Absolutely.
All right, our first phone call on this segment. Good afternoon, Midday 16. Go ahead, please. What's your question? Go ahead, please.
Yes. I weigh 227 pounds, and my doctor said that I could jog, but I do have arthritis in my ankles. I was wondering if you could maybe tell me what kind of shoes I could get and how long...
Okay, I have never been an advocate of running to lose weight. Okay, I think that in the process of running, you run more to condition your cardiovascular system, and a byproduct of running is loss of weight. Secondarily to that, I think that you will find yourself toning up your muscles and whatnot, and that is just another byproduct of it. As far as arthritis goes, I would think for an arthritic condition in an ankle or a knee, you would want to find a shoe that is a very, very stable shoe and has a lot of, we call it cushioning in this back part here, and it will allow you to take a lot of shock in the rear foot. And I think that that's the kind of thing you would want to look for in a running shoe to help you with an arthritic condition.
All right, our next question. Good afternoon, Midday 16. Go ahead, please. What's your question?
Yeah, like I'm handicapped. I only have one leg. And like the doctor told me to walk a lot with one leg. But the idea is I had a kidney failure, and they told me to walk a lot. Now the idea is, like I could walk maybe 100 yards.
What's your question, ma'am? Ma'am?
No, I'm not, sir.
Oh, what's your question?
Like it is, I like to walk a lot. I like to walk about 10 miles at least a day. But the idea is, if I walk about 100 yards, I'm dead tired. And I take nitroglycerin pills because I have like a bad heart.
What is your question?
The doctor told me to walk a lot.
Okay, I suspect what kind of sneaker or running?
I think that's a very interesting question. We've seen some handicapped people do some really remarkable things. I think that as a handicapped person,